Badeday TV, shoutout sa'yo. Kay Imara Katama, yan. Kay Virgo Girl 77, shoutout po. Hello Cory Yanes. Yan kay Joanne Shibuya Cruz, watching from Japan, shoutout po sa inyo. Donald Ilongparing, yan, shoutout po. At siyempre kay Air TV, pahingi po ng blessing, salamat sa lahat, yan, God bless din po sa iyo. Kay Jen Agalang, yan, shoutout po. Shoutout po kay Adeng, solid ko, love po kami, Mang Jun, love po namin, love po rin po kayo. Maraming salamat po sa inyo. Kay Sherwin Nazay from Holosulu, yan, shoutout po sir. Tama sir pala. Kay Jeros TV, shoutout. Yan, Mang Jun, solid ako sa iyo. Yan, solid din po ako sa inyo. Kung pagmamahal po, solid po yan sa inyo lahat. Maraming salamat po. Baek Yeol, Mang Jun, kamusta po? Okay lang po ako. Eric Sony, yan, pa-shoutout po Mang Jun, yan, shoutout sa'yo Eric Sony. At siyempre kay Baby Girl, shoutout. Kay Fernando Padua, shoutout sa'yo. Kay MJ Santiago from Korea.
For many countries who are now dealing with large clusters or community transmission is not whether they can do the same, it's whether they will.
It comes on the day the federal government is pumping around $17 billion into the economy to fight the downturn. Plus, as the Grand Prix opens in Melbourne this morning, 3 team members are being tested for the virus and other major public events are in doubt. New cases continue to emerge with at least 122 Australians infected. We have special coverage this morning. First to Nine's political reporter Kerry Axley in Canberra with that World Health Organisation announcement confirming what the government has been bracing for, Kerry. Who's going to benefit from the federal government's cash splash?
Well, Tracy, what we know about the cash splash is that its aim is to protect businesses, protect jobs and get cash out into the economy without basically blowing up the budget. So pensioners will likely get a one-off cash payment. Many small and medium businesses will get a boost to their cash flow. There are nearly 700,000 eligible businesses across the country. They employ nearly 8 million people. There are also incentives to buy more equipment. And for businesses with fewer than 20 employees, the government will pay them to keep apprentices on. The stimulus could be worth upwards of $15 billion, trying to help avoid a recession. Some of the government's measures will be funded for a few months, others will be funded over the next couple of years. The PM says he will spend more if necessary, although he's pretty keen to point out, Tracy, that this crisis will have an end date.
And the Prime Minister is on the show shortly. Kerry Axley, thank you. Let's bring in today Melbourne reporter Christina Hearn, who's at Albert Park, where the coronavirus is overshadowing the opening of the Melbourne Grand Prix. Chris, 3 Formula One team members are being tested.
Tracy, 2 members of the Haas team, 1 member of the McLaren team are currently in isolation in their hotel rooms awaiting test results. They had been here at the Albert Park circuit yesterday. Team officials had hoped that they'd get those results within 12 hours. It could be up to 2 days because of a backlog before the results are known. It's certainly a hive of activity here this morning. The gates will open today. However, this has certainly renewed debate as to whether this event should have gone ahead. Also, news this morning that Anzac Day services perhaps could be held without crowds. Veterans forced to watch on TV at home. The RSL in talks with authorities about contingency plans. For schools, the Easter holiday period could be extended to try and stop the virus. In Victoria, already 2 schools have been closed. Tracy.
Having a huge impact across the board. Chris, thank you. Now to today, Queensland reporter Jessica Millward. Jess, Woolworths is fighting back against panic shoppers.
Yeah, that's right, Tracy. With panic buying continuing across the country, it has come to this, with Woolworths announcing that there will be no exchanges or refunds on high demand items. That includes toilet paper, tissues, painkillers, pasta and tin food. They say it is to ensure that everyone in the community gets access to these items, but it is also to deter people from stocking up and then thinking if they don't need these products, they can simply get a refund, because that will no longer be the case at Woolworths. This is, of course, on top of the toilet paper limit that Woolworths have enforced, which is 2 packets, 1 packet at Coles. And Tracy, just finally a warning to anyone that went to Friday's nightclub across the weekend. The infected university student, a 22-year-old, well, that person went there on the weekend. So anyone that went there and is starting to feel unwell is being asked to call a doctor. Tracy?
All right, Jess in Brisbane, thank you. Today, reporter Gabrielle Boyle is at the ASX in Sydney. Gabby, investors are certainly nervous about the Australian market after sharp falls on Wall Street this morning.
Yeah, the Dow Jones is down by over 1,000 points, and the expectation is it's going to be another very difficult day on the Australian market. To give you an idea on where we find ourselves this morning after the past few weeks of coronavirus, $430 billion has been ripped from the value of Australian companies. It is an extraordinary amount of money, and of course it has prompted many economic experts to predict we are in for a recession. Whether that happens certainly remains to be seen, but it is a very difficult situation we find ourselves in at the moment. One of the main areas of concern is, of course, super. That has taken an